morning all. I am Aishwarya, Assistant Professor in Department of Computer Application from SFR College. Today we are going to see about the topic of domain name system from computer networks. Here this is our learning objectives. First one is history of DNS, DNS namespace, domain source records, name servers. First of all, we are going to see about the history of DNS. First, we identify an entity. The internet uses the IP addresses which always uniquely identifies the connections of the host to the internet. So, we need to map a name to an IP address or an IP address to the name which are used by host files. The host files only had two columns, the one for the name and the one for an address. If any changes has happened, it is impossible to update all the host files at any time. So, solution for this is to divide this huge information into the smaller part, and we are going to store each part on the different systems. In this process, we are using the domain name system to the host that needs the mapping can contact the closest nearing computer system to hold the needed information. Next topic is DNS namespace. Here the DNS namespace was designed using the hierarchical namespace. Here the names are defined in an interventor tree structure with a root at the top. The tree have only 128 levels, which is level 0, which is called root level, to the level 127. Each level of the tree defines a hierarchical level. Here this picture indicates that all these domains can represent by the tree. The leaves of this tree represent domains that have no subdomains. The leaf domain may contain a single host, or it may represent a company and contains thousands of hosts. The top level domains come in two flavors. One is a generic and the another one is a country. Here we are going to see about the label. Each node in a tree has a label which is a string with a maximum number of 63 characters. The root label is a null string. DNS requires that the children of the node having different labels guarantees the uniqueness of the domain names. Next we are going to see about what is domain name. Each node in a tree has a domain name. A full domain name is a sequence of labels which are separated by dots. The domain names are always read from the node up to the root. Next we are going to see about the top level domains. There are three types of domain names. First one is an organizational, geographical, reverse domains. First one, organizational. The 3-character code indicates the functions of the organization. Example, GOV, which is used for government institutions, MIL, which is used for the military institutions, EDU, which is used for the educational institutions, ORG, which is used for the non-profit organizations, COM, which is used for the commercial institutions, NET, which is used for the network institutions. Next level, geographical. The 2-character country code or region code. Example, USVA, JPDE, which are represents the country regions. Reverse domains. A special domain used for the IP address to name mapping. Next one, distribution of namespace. The evaluation of the hierarchical namespace is done by hierarchy of the name servers. Each server is responsible for the contiguous portion of the DNS namespace, which are called as zone. Here the zone is a part of the subtree. DNS server answers all the queries about the host in its own zone. Authority and delegation. Authority for the root domain is with the Internet Corporation for assigned numbers and names, which is called as icon. Icon delegates to accredited registers and countries for country code top level domains. Chain of delegation can be obtained by reading domain name from right to left. The unit of delegation is called as zone. Here next we are going to see about the domain resource records. The database records of the distributed database are called resource records. Resource records are stored in configuration file, which is called as zone files at the name servers. A resource record has 5 tuples. The format will as follows: domain name, time to live, class, type, value. Here DNS resource record file types are here. We are going to see about the types. First type SOA, meaning, which means start of authority. The value is parameters for the zone. Next type is A, which means IP address of the host. The value is 32-bit integer. The next type is MX, which means mail exchange. The value is priority domain willing to accept email. Next type NS, which means name server. The value is the name of the server for this domain. Next type CNAME, meaning conical name. The value is domain name. Next type PTR, which means pointer. Value is alias for any IP address. Next type HInfo, meaning host description. The value is CPU and the OS in ASCII. Next type TXT, which means text, uninterrupted ASCII text. Next, name servers. Each zone is anchored at a specific domain node, but zones are not domains. A DNS domain is a branch of the namespace. A zone is a portion of the DNS namespace, generally stored in a file, and it consists of multiple nodes. A server can divide the parts of its zone and delegate it to other servers. Next, this is diagram represents the part of DNS namespace divided into zones. The zones are represented through the circled form. Next, for each zone there must be a primary name server and the secondary name server. The primary server, which is called as master server, which maintains the zone file which has the information about the zone. The secondary server copies the data stored at the primary server. Next we are going to see about how to add a host to the zone. When a new host is added to the zone, the administrator adds the IP information on the particular host. The information about the IP address and the name of the host to the configuration file on the primary server. Next, name servers. Application programs on the host access the domain systems through the DNS client, which are called as resolver. The resolver contacts DNS server called name server. DNS server returns IP address to the resolver, which passes the IP address to the applications. The reverse lookups are always also possible here because we easily find out the host name given an IP address. Next, recursive queries. This picture indicates that when the name server of the host cannot resolve a query, the server issues a query to resolve the queries. It accepts the response from the name server. If the server cannot supply the answer, it will send the query to the closest known authoritative name server. Next one, iterative queries. This picture indicates that when the name server of the host cannot resolve a query, it sends a referral to the another server to the resolver. It involves more work for the resolver. The name server sends a closest known authoritative name server, a referential to the root servers. Thank you for watching this video. I hope everyone understands the topic of domain name system in computer networks. If you watch more videos like this, follow this channel. Thank you.